So you know you're supposed to connect with people on LinkedIn, and maybe you've tried a request here or there and heard crickets. So how do we do this whole thing? How do I write a personal invite? What are the best ways to connect on LinkedIn? Well, today we're gonna talk about 5 of them. So if we haven't met, my name is Cassandra and I help motivated professionals build their careers through practical tips to gain career confidence. Y'all, LinkedIn is a requirement. Whether you are looking for a new job or just trying to build your network, LinkedIn is a requirement in your professional world. So let's start talking about how to connect with people in really great ways. So number 1, create content, or at least post content, share content. You need to be adding to the feed. So when you share content, that brings people to you, whether it's an original post that you made or you're sharing an article and giving some thoughts about it at the top. Share some sort of content, have a question at the end that people can answer. And when they answer, reply back and forth, and then send them a connection request, right? Still put a personal message in there. Always put a personal message in, saying, hey, thanks for commenting on my post. I'd really love to keep the conversation going and learn more about you. Let's connect. Share content, create content, post something in the feed. That's the first way. Second great way to connect with people on LinkedIn, polls. So y'all, I am loving polls right now. Polls are a pretty new-ish feature on LinkedIn, so they're still heavily favoring it, which means when you post a poll, it gets shown to a lot more people, and you'll have people voting on it that aren't in your network because they saw it in someone else's feed down the line. And so you get to see who voted and which way they voted, and you can connect with those people. Click on their little face, hit connect, add the personal message and say, hey, thanks so much for voting in my poll. Talk about why you agree with them or what you thought of their answer, and say, I would love to get to know you better. Let's connect. Very simple, but the return on this is pretty crazy in my eyes. I've seen really good results from using polls, so start using those as an entryway to connect with more people. Okay, third great way to connect. Listen to podcasts, read blogs, watch YouTube videos, and then find those people on LinkedIn and ask them to connect. This is honestly my favorite way to connect with people who are maybe outside my influence, outside my sphere, maybe a notch above me. If somebody's on a podcast as a guest and I really love what they had to say, I love to reach out to them and ask for an invite on LinkedIn. Put in a personal message where you talk about what you really appreciated from the podcast you heard them on. Not just, oh, I heard you on so-and-so's podcast. It was great. No. What did they say? What did that mean to you? What action are you taking because of it? Or, hey, thanks for that blog post, blah, 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 blah. People see my YouTube videos and come in and ask to connect on LinkedIn. When they add a message and say, hey, I watched your videos. The one about the interview questions to ask totally changed the way I ask questions at the end of an interview. Thanks so much. I'd love to connect. Of course, I'll connect with them. You want to be adding something personal, but use that other thing that they're on and then talk to them about it on LinkedIn. Okay, fourth great way, Clubhouse. Now, I've talked about Clubhouse a little bit here on the platform, and you'd think from how much I've been talking about it, you'd think it's like my favorite platform. It's actually not, but it is a great way to network. So Clubhouse is the audio-only social media app right now, and there'll be people in a room and you can go click on their profile, see their name, see what they're about. And the funny thing is, it won't link out to LinkedIn the way it will to Instagram, but people often still put their LinkedIn profile address in their profile on Clubhouse, or you just go search their name on LinkedIn and then say, hey, I heard you on Clubhouse saying blah, 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 blah. Very similar to the guest on a podcast or YouTube, etc. You can also just connect with other people in the Clubhouse room. Find other people in the room, read their profiles, see if you have things in common or reasons you could connect, and then go find them on LinkedIn and say, hey, I saw we were both in the room on finding jobs in Europe. There's a room for everything. Like, that's not even that zany. And I would love to connect and maybe we can help each other out. Like, you just put something of where you found them on Clubhouse, what you might have in common, and then ask to connect. But it really does work. a lot of the time. Plus, because you met through Clubhouse in a specific room, they already know you have a commonality. Just like if you met somebody at an event live in person, they're much more likely to connect with you in that room because you're both at the same event. And the last way, well, this one seems obvious, but people don't do it really well, and that is to give an intentional invite. So sometimes there are those people that you really want to connect with that you have no common person, or you haven't heard them on a podcast or seen them post anything recently. They're not on Clubhouse, right? You're like, really, I'm just going to have to kind of cold introduce myself. That's okay, but make it an intentional invitation. Tell them why you're reaching out other than just, I really want to work at your company. I did this recently with an app I use all the time. I said in a software, I reached out to somebody who's their content manager and said, hey, I saw you work at this company. I love what you all do. I use your product in my daily business as a career coach. I would love to connect and see more of what's going on in your world. That's it. They totally connected because they saw that maybe, I don't know why they did it. I can't sit here and say why. I can guess. Maybe they saw that there might be somewhere for us to work together down the line. Maybe they just thought what I do was interesting. Maybe they just know having more connections is a good thing because it leads to other people. Who knows? But I know it's because I added that actual personal invite of, I like what you do. Here's why I like it. That they decided to connect. So when you have to send a cold one, be intentional, add a compliment, tell them why you like their product, their company, why you're interested in doing what they do. Add something that shows, hey, I really appreciate you. That's why I'd connect. The bottom line with all of these, be genuine and find a purposeful reason to reach out. That is the best way to get a connection. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe if you haven't already. If you need more LinkedIn help, I've got videos here and here, depending on where you're at, and more in the description box below. And that's it for today. I'll see you in the next one.